So our Baltimore Ravens score a 24-0 victory over the Cincinnati Bengals, and the playoff hopes stay alive, and the Bengals' playoff hopes crumble right underneath them. This and so much more on this episode of Quiet Storm Sports. Like the video. Yes. Welcome back to yet another episode of Quiet Storm Sports on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. The Baltimore Ravens today got a victory, a much needed W on the road, allowed no points, and walked away now 7-7, 500. Through 15 weeks, this Ravens team is 500, which I know still does not sound great. And I'm going to get into that and the outlook on the rest of the season. But this is a net positive. Of course, you had to get this W or else your playoff chances will be slim to none. Slim to none in this one if you lost it. So I'm glad that the Ravens got a W. However, I'm still, and I'm glad that they pitched a shutout. My dad actually just texted me. I'm seeing a text on my phone. My dad just texted me. He said, y'all pitched a shutout. Nice win against the rival. That's exactly what it was. It's exactly what it was. You know, especially after that Thanksgiving game, I told you guys that Thanksgiving night, I didn't eat until really late that day. And so I was literally eating my Thanksgiving dinner while the game was on, and I couldn't taste anything on my plate because of how the game was going, right? So for the Ravens to get their get back in the fashion that they did today, I was very, very excited. I mean, I was very happy. I was very pleased to see what they put on film today. Now, that first quarter, it was looking kind of shaky. Not kind of shaky. It was looking very shaky, very rocky. I didn't like it. But that second quarter, Ravens had 2 touchdowns. Rasheen Ali had a touchdown on a clutch, 3rd and short. Zay Flowers caught a deep ball. You guys know I got to get into Zay Flowers. He's still behind me right here. It's Zay Flowers month. December is Zay month. It is. I know I've talked my trash about him, but you guys have seen this. Check the episodes. He's been there all month. I'm going to get into him, though. I'm going to get into him. Up and down performance. Before I get into it, though, I am live right now. Again, shout out to everybody watching this episode of Quiet Storm Sports Live. Again, I am your host, Sutton Def. The Ravens 24-0 victory over the Cincinnati Bengals. We're here to get into it. I got to bring up who's here in the live chat, though. Spooky J, what's going on, Spooky? Says, I hate the Ravens, bruh, LMAO, but at least we ended the Bengals season. Yeah, the Bengals are officially eliminated from the playoffs. So that's good. King Blaze in the house says, big dubs. What's going on, King Blaze? Yes, sir. We eating us a W today. Ashley in the house. What's going on, Ashley? Avery says, first truly enjoyable game in a long while. You ain't lying, brother. You ain't lying. Khalil says, them folks was talking spicy about Lamar. I need that same energy. Lamar has never been shut out. Thea Pennell says, gotta ask again, Sutton. Are we back? That's a good question. I don't think so. Okay. I think that if I'm gonna be honest with you guys right now, the Ravens played a mentally bruised and battered Bengals team. You know, it was clear and obvious after the Bengals came out in the second half and they made nothing of their first drive. I believe it was a turnover on downs. I can't exactly remember, but they didn't score the whole game, but they didn't do anything coming out of the half. Anything, really. Well, there was one good completion. There was one good completion to, I believe, Jamar Chase. But they didn't score, is my point. I believe after that, they capitulated. They punted on the game. You could tell after that, Derrick Henry, and I told you guys, whoever watched the halftime live stream that I did, I told you guys the second half was going to be a huge Derrick Henry half. And that's exactly what it was. He had 3 or 4 runs of 20 plus yards. It was ridiculous, you know. So I'm saying I don't want to say that we're back right now, only because it feels like that Bengals team played with no inspiration at all. Honestly, that first quarter of ball looked like totally uninspired football from the Ravens and the Bengals. The entire game looked kind of uninspired from the Bengals, just to be honest with you. They had a couple good plays here and there, right? But for the most part, you kind of saw everything with what Joe Burrow was saying earlier in the week. Joe Burrow saying, "Oh, if I want to keep doing this, keyword if I want to keep doing this, I got to have fun with it." You know, it didn't look like he had any fun today at home, Paycor Stadium in Cincinnati, Ohio. I mean, the guy he didn't look very good at all. You know, Jamar Chase, and I'm gonna get into the stats. I'm gonna get into the stats, but I was just kind of going through these live chats here. Shout out to everybody in the live chat. We love you guys. Brandon in the live chat, Don Royal in the live chat, Don DeWan in the live chat, Brandon in the live chat. What's going on, y'all? Tila in the live chat, and the M is for moderator. Stutterman in the live chat. What's going on? Kimberly in the live chat. Sean Coles in the live chat. Slicer in the live chat. Bo Knows in the live chat. ISO is in the live chat. Stunt is in the live chat. Shout out to y'all. Big Ravens W. If you're part of the hashtag replay gang, which means you're not watching live, you're watching this instant reaction to the Ravens win over the Bengals after the fact, after I'm live here. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Big appreciation towards the replay gang. As always, make sure you guys like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and you're enjoying this. Again, my name is Sudden Def. You're listening to the Purple Rain podcast, and this is Quiet Storm Sports. Okay. Taquan, what's going on, Taquan? Slim, what's going on? Khalil, my guy. Shout out to all y'all. All right, let's see. Let's go through some stats here. Let's go through some stats before we continue to break it down. Darlene, what's up? I see you. Lamar Jackson, 8 for 12 in this game. Only 12 attempts passing from Lamar Jackson. This was a very efficient Ravens W. Which is important. Well, I really can't say it was all that efficient because we did get banged up. We did not leave Cincinnati unscathed, right? Teddy Buchanan, it's feared that he tore his ACL. Before I get into the stats, just let me get through this. It's feared that Teddy Buchanan tore his ACL. And if I'm just going to assume that that's what happened, he's going to be out for the year, obviously. And you're going to see a lot more of Roquan Smith and Trenton Simpson as a tandem. Now would be the time where... Does anybody know where Jay Higgins is? I mean, I can't remember if his injury that he had was season ending. I can't remember. I want to say it was. I can't remember right now. I'm a little bit excited right now, guys. Just gonna say that, but that's why I probably don't remember a certain everything right now. I'm just gonna say that. I've been turning up a little bit. You're getting a little bit buzzed, Sutton, here today. Got me a little drink here today. Shout out to my guy, Coach Evans, the creator of Sippers. I'm sure they're sipping over there at Coach's stream, but I'm sipping too. Ravens W, but yeah, Teddy Buchanan got hurt. Cheeto Awuzie got hurt. Who else went down in this one? Marlon Humphrey was down for a little while, but he came back to the game. Ronnie Stanley went down. Yeah, we're going to have to see. Higgins on IR. Concussion. Higgins again. I think I think you're talking about T. Higgins. You might be talking about T. Higgins, Bo. Slicer says, I think likely was in the doghouse. Yeah, man. I mean, that was the only leg of the Purple Rain parlay that did not hit. So as you guys know, me and Alex, we put a parlay in on Thursday's episode. We were 2 for 2 in the last 2 weeks. We had Lamar Jackson over 1.5 touchdown passes that covered. We also had Derrick Henry over 88.5 rushing yards that covered. But we also had Isaiah Likely over 36.5. Oh no, actually, I'm sorry. We had Isaiah Likely over 3.5 receptions, and he got no receptions and no targets. Let me know if I'm tripping, but I don't think Isaiah Likely got even a target in this game. Like nothing. So maybe Harbaugh did kind of doghouse him a little bit. I mean, I saw Isaiah Likely kind of like running across the screen in motion a couple of times throughout this game, but I didn't really see anything from Isaiah Likely. Like, he didn't even get a target. At least I can't recall one. And I'm pretty sure I watched every down. So is what it is there. Let me see. Who else in the live chat? Jawayne, what's going on, man? Moggs in the live chat. Appreciate y'all for coming through, man. D Lava, what up? It's a good Sunday. It's a good Sunday. Victory Sunday. Let me keep going through these stats here. Rushing stats for the Ravens. Derrick Henry had 11 carries for 100 yards even, averaging 9.1 yards per carry, and had a long of 29 yards. Man, look. Derrick Henry had 6 carries in the first half, right? Which means he had 5 in the second half to equal to 11 carries. And he had 100 yards. I think he only had 17 yards in the first half. That second half, and like I said on the halftime stream, it had Derrick Henry written all over it. Those guys, the Bengals, I mean, they were down. They knew that if they lost this game, they were mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. They were already on the brink of elimination. They were clinging on to dear life at 4-9 anyway, right? I don't think they had anything to play for. So I knew Derrick Henry was going to come out and really take the soul out of the Bengals in that second half, and that's exactly what he did. Again, ending the game, 11 carries, 100 yards, an efficient game. Again, an efficient game. You didn't put a whole lot of miles on Derrick Henry. You didn't put a whole lot of miles on Lamar Jackson in this one. So a very efficient game from the rushing attack. I'll get into Keaton Mitchell in a second. Void with the Super Chat donation, making it rain here on this episode of Quiet Storm Sports. Let's clap it up for Void. Yes, sir. Void says, Ravens win and welcome to Derry season finale. In the words of Proximus Caesar, what a wonderful day. I still have not watched Welcome to Derry yet, but I might have to get into it now. I told you guys on Sutton Reactions, and by the way, Sutton Reactions is a brand new show that just started last week here on this channel and also on my actual official Sutton Reactions channel, where I'm reacting to any and everything that you guys send me. It doesn't have to be about sports. It can be about anything. I'm reacting to it live in real time. It's a morning show. I'm live. You can come join the live chat. We have a lot of fun. So if that sounds good to you, make sure you go ahead and type in Sutton Reactions on your little search bar, right? And subscribe to the channel. And yeah, we're going to be live tomorrow. We're going to be live tomorrow morning reacting to some new stuff. But Void says here, welcome to Derry season finale is tonight. So, and I've been thinking about watching it ever since. I think it might have been you, Void, who brought it up to me the other day in Sudden Reactions in that video, in that live stream. But I've been thinking about watching it, I've been thinking about watching it. So I appreciate that. I'm going to definitely have to check it out. Another Super Chat donation. This one's coming from Josh Hoffman. What's going on, Josh? Appreciate you. Clap it up for Josh, y'all. Appreciate you, Josh, dropping the 5-piece donation in the chat. Says Henry reps were consecutive, not subbing every other down. Same for Keaton. I've been begging for that. Exactly. You got to get these guys in a rhythm. And you can tell when Derrick Henry started to get hot, he was trusting his eyes a lot more. And he was hitting the holes, right? And he was picking up big yardage on those plays. So, I mean, and same thing goes for Keaton Mitchell. I know Keaton Mitchell had a big run in garbage time at the end of the game, which might inflate his numbers a little bit, but he still worked for that, and the other plays as well. I mean, the first Keaton Mitchell carry that he had, I mean, go back and watch it on the NFL highlights channel or whatever, because it's going to be there. I mean, it was like a 9-yard carry. The guy, literally, his vision is so good, Keaton Mitchell, and he can cut on a dime. He's very good with cutting. If Keaton Mitchell literally had like maybe 15 more pounds on him, he might be one of the best running backs in the league. Quiet as kept. But if he had just a little bit more power, right? Oh, he might be one of the best. He might be one of the best. Appreciate the super chat donation, Josh. Appreciate the super chat donation. Zeke Okage in the house says PRP was good. What's going on, Zeke? Happy Sunday to you, brother. Kwame says thoughts on Zay. Let's look at the receiving stats for the Ravens in this one. Zay Flowers, 3 catches for 68 yards and 1 touchdown. Zay Flowers, finally, Zay Flowers finally scored a touchdown, guys. Finally scored a round of applause for Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers finally scored a touchdown. Very happy about that. Very happy about that. Almost 2 touchdowns. But let's talk about the good and the bad. The good was that over-the-shoulder touchdown grab, deep ball from Lamar Jackson. By the way, let it be known, that was an absolutely gorgeous pass by Lamar Jackson. Gorgeous pass. Beat the corner in front of the safety. And Zay Flowers, of course, he goes and he gets it. Now, do I know? Yes, I do. Do I know that Zay Flowers knew for a fact he had to make up for what he did on the previous drive? Yes, he did. Because I believe on that same drive, if I'm not mistaken, he had a catch of like 20 plus yards downfield where he caught it at the very last second, like basically on his knees, and he got hit right after that, but he held on to it. That was a makeup catch for the bobble that turned into an interception in the first quarter. So shout out to Zay for bouncing back. I'm proud of him for that. But there's some inconsistencies with this guy because he should have had 2 touchdowns. He should have had 2 touchdowns. And let me say this. This is the second week in a row where Zay Flowers had a chance to come down with a ball inbounds. But since he's not tall enough, he was not able to come down with it. Last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers, there was a play on the boundary. Many of you watching right now probably remember what I'm talking about. There was a play along the boundary where he caught the ball, but he had to get up. He had to extend just a little bit too much to where his feet had to leave the ground. And he ended up out of bounds. And it was incomplete. And the exact same thing happened today against the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, in the back corner of the end zone, he goes up and he looks, he's got all the space. The throw was fine. He was very open. If he catches that ball and comes down with 2 feet in bounds, it's a touchdown. But again, he had to go up a little bit too high. He had to go up a little bit too high to snag it. And, he just couldn't bring it down. So, with Zay Flowers, I'm glad, I'm glad he had the touchdown today. I am. However, I do still think that there is a ceiling of what we're going to get out of number 4. There's a ceiling, man, and that does concern me. because there's gonna be some times where the throw can't always be perfect and right on you, and you're gonna have to go up and get it. That's what wide receiver ones do. And it just doesn't seem like Zay really has that in his bag. You know what I mean? And we still haven't seen plays where he catches it underneath and takes it for a touchdown. We saw a very rare, a very aberrant play from the Ravens. Like, you don't really see Zay Flowers going over the top and catching the ball over the shoulder like that. So it's like, how sustainable is that really? How many times is Lamar Jackson going to make a perfect throw like that for Zay Flowers to go ahead and literally just catch it right in the breadbasket? And I'm not shitting on Zay Flowers, guys. I'm not shitting on Zay Flowers. I promise you I'm not. I'm just saying, like, down the stretch, because it's looking like, and hopefully the Dolphins can knock off the Steelers in prime time. But it's looking like this Ravens team could make the playoffs. So who is it going to be in the playoffs who is making the big plays and scoring the touchdowns? I just don't know. And I'm talking about pass catchers. I just don't know. I just don't know. Shelly in the building. What's going on, Shelly? Appreciate you for coming through. Who else do we got in here? Again, shout out to the replay gang. Shout out to everybody watching after the live stream. Hello. Comment down below your thoughts, comments, concerns, questions, whatever you got. We love to hear them. Again, my name is Sutton Def, and you are listening to the Purple Rain Podcast. Brian. What's going on, Brian? Says, just hopped in, but man, Tavius was key and might change our season. Tavius Robinson had his first game back today, and he had a really nice sack in the first quarter, a 15-yard sack on Joe Burrow. Excuse me, I had to sneeze. Had to do it again. Sorry, guys. But yeah, Tavius was key. I like what I saw from him in his first game back. I said this also on Twitter. Oh shoot, my bad. I thought it freaking unmuted. My bad. But no, I said this on Twitter. Since Tavius Robinson was playing, and thank you to whoever said bless you. When Tavius Robinson was back in the game, I knew that Mike Green would get more reps of importance, because he was playing so many snaps, Mike Green was, when there was no Tavius Robinson, that I felt like he would kind of gas out, on top of him being a little bit undersized. But I said that Mike Green would get a sack in this game with Tavius Robinson back. And lo and behold, Mike Green got a sack. So happy about that. Happy about that for sure. Is Zay not off the hook yet? He's not. He's not, bro. He's not. Sorry, guys, I was muted. Again, this is why I need a producer on this show. I need somebody in the background to like monitor all this. Hey, look, if you want to produce the show, DM me. We can talk about it. We can figure something out, and I would appreciate that though, because we need that here at PRP. We truly do. Braille stream for the win. Over 100 people watching live, by the way. Shout out to y'all. Thank y'all for coming through to this episode of the show. Again, we're sipping today. Big Ravens W. Big Ravens W. I'm going to go through the stats in a little bit, in a second here, but here's a sip. Cheers to the Ravens, guys. Spilling some on my beard. It's kind of crazy. But look, big Ravens W. Go Man in the house says, "What's up, Sutton? How about them Ravens? Ravens looking good. I mean, they look good today. They look good today. 24-0. 24-0 is crazy. Let me see other stats here. DeAndre Hopkins had 1 catch for 32 yards in this game. Yeah, the 1 catch he did have, it looked like he was streaking towards the end zone. To me, I don't know about you guys, but like, I thought he could have scored right there. But for some reason, like, he cut back. I don't know why. Don't ask me. But he cut back for some reason. And he didn't keep running straight. If he kept running straight, he might have got maybe an extra 10 yards out of that play. I don't think he would have scored because he looked painfully slow anyways. And, I had to remember DeAndre Hopkins is a little bit older now. How old is DeAndre Hopkins? As a matter of fact, let me ask Siri. How old is DeAndre Hopkins? DeAndre Hopkins is 33. He's 33 years old. So, I mean, it's so funny how, like, because 33 is actually really young, and for most average human beings, that's like the prime of your, like, athletic life. You know what I mean? It's like that range between like 29 to 33, I would say. And for D-Hop to like look that slow amongst like his peers, like other NFL players, it just lets you know, man, like at the highest level of this sport, there's levels to it. There's levels. Even at this level, there's levels, you know. Read through the rest of these stats here. Rasheen Ali, 2 catches for 32 yards and a touchdown. Of course, there was that touchdown play where I believe it was 3rd and short, and Lamar Jackson, I think the Bengals were showing a 0 blitz, right? And Lamar Jackson ends up getting it to Rasheen Ali, who leaks out into the flat. And I think Lamar Jackson made a check at the line of scrimmage on that play, and that was kind of like the difference maker on that one, because I'm sure that there was probably a play drawn up to go down the field, which I'm sure would have been covered because some of those guys dropped out into coverage. Some of the guys who were showing blitz on that play, but Rasheen Ali leaks out. Lamar gets it to him immediately. It looked like literally a savvy veteran move from Lamar Jackson. Gets it to Rasheen Ali, and Rasheen Ali walks it in for a touchdown from 30, 40 yards out. It was a beautiful play. Beautiful play. So, shout out to Rasheen. Shout out to Rasheen Ali on that one. Let me see here. Any more stats on this one? Let me go to the Bengals side of things. Joe Burrow finished the game 25 for 39, 225 yards passing, no passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and was sacked 3 times. By the way, Lamar Jackson was sacked 4 times in this game. And the sacks that he took, I'd say half of them were on the offensive line and half of them were on Lamar. There were times where Lamar Jackson got sacked. I think it was the drive where he got sacked twice in one drive. I was thinking to myself on both of those, like, hey, man, like, just take off and run. And that's when I had to remember, and think to myself, like, oh, wait a minute. He's hurt still. Like, he's clearly not 100% running the football, because the Lamar Jackson that I know is way more electric than what we saw today. He would have been able to literally like step out of some of them tackles, not even be touched by some of the guys who were touching him today, and get upfield. That's the Lamar that I know. And I know it's not just attributed to him getting older, right? Lamar Jackson is only 29 years old. He's still, again, like I just said, he's in the prime of his athletic career. He's just not healthy. He's just not healthy. And that's what half of those sacks, I think, came from. Him not being able to be truly himself and escape the pocket and either run downfield or extend the play a little bit more to throw it downfield, right? So let me see here. Going through the Bengals stats again. Rushing, Chase Brown, 13 carries, 53 yards. Samaje Perine, 14 carries, 42 yards. Let me see. Jamar Chase had 10 catches for 132 yards in this game. 10 for 132. So, again, Jamar Chase, I don't want to say torches the Ravens because he got his, but he didn't really have plays that broke the game open. You know what I mean? Because I believe one of those drives where he had a couple of catches was the pick six drive. And let me just talk about that really quick before I, go back into Jamar Chase a little bit more. That pick six drive was very, very, how do I say, refreshing. You know, I kind of knew that Joe Burrow was going to be forcing it in that second half, especially after the Ravens went up 17-0, you know. Um, you're up 3 possessions. I knew they were going to start forcing it, and I knew that Joe Burrow was eventually going to make a mistake and throw a pick. But I think that ball was tipped, and it landed in, I can't remember. But Kyle Van Noy gets the pick. He runs upfield a little bit, and then he looks back, and he sees Alohi Gilman, and Gilman's trailing behind him, and Van Noy is like reaching the ball back, like, hey, like, bro, take it. You're faster than me, much faster than me. You might be able to house this. So just take it. I'm not even gonna risk it and pitching it to you, but I'm just gonna like hand it to you. And he did that, and Gilman ends up taking it to the house for a touchdown. I mean, I knew the game was over in the first half when Zay Flowers had that deep ball touchdown, which was again great. Love that. But when that pick six happened, I mean, that was just literally that was it. That was the end of the Bengals season. Every Bengals fan in the world saw that play and just knew, like, oh yeah, that's officially how the Cincinnati Bengals 2025 season ends. I mean, because the Bengals were in the red zone. They were in the red zone. So that's a 14-point swing. You cannot come back from that, especially when you're already down 17. That was it right there. That was the knockout punch. Beautiful play from Kyle Van Noy and Alohi Gilman. Beautiful play. Let me see here. So yeah, Jamar Chase, 10 catches for $132. He did cook Marlon Humphrey in the first half. I don't know if you guys saw that, but he cooked Marlon Humphrey. Ended up being incomplete because he dropped it, but after that, I was like, please, please get Marlon Humphrey off of Jamar Chase. Chase Brown, 7 catches for 37 yards. Tanner Hudson, 3 catches for 16 yards. Tinsley, 1 for 16. Drew Sample, 2 for 12. Mike Gesicki, 1 for 11. And Samaje Perine, 1 catch for 1 yards. So, I mean, Burrow was kind of spreading that thing around a little bit. He was spreading that thing around. But overall, man, great game from the Ravens. I mean, they played, I think, a solid 3 quarters out of 4 of football today. I said it all week. Like, I don't know how much faith I have in this Ravens team to put together 16 quarters of good football. Today, they put together 3 towards that 16. They got 12 left. And we're going to see what they do against the Patriots, against the Packers, and against, once again, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who just beat us last week. So we're going to see. Are we pausing? What are we pausing? Did I say something? Pause-worthy? Did I say something pause-worthy? My bad, guys. What did I say? What did I say? Sometimes I just be talking up here, guys. You guys got to let me know. What was flagrant about what I just said? What was flagrant? Let me see. Attitude Pop, what's going on, brother? Louisville Cardinals Ravens, what's up? Zay Flowers deserves a Bateman contract. Today, I mean, honestly, when it comes in, just another word about Zay Flowers, like when it comes to what the Ravens are gonna want to do with him, and like where Zay Flowers' stock is currently with the Ravens, I would say today was like kind of like a like a zero-sum game. Like, it was, you can't really say like, oh, I feel so much better about Zay Flowers, but you can't say I feel so much worse about Zay Flowers. I mean, he scored the touchdown, right? And he had like 60-something yards, but he also had a bobble, like a drop that ended up being an interception, and he had a drop in the end zone. So it's like they both kind of cancel each other out, right? So it's like I kind of feel the same way now about Zay Flowers, that I did yesterday. It's one of those things. I'm glad he scored his second touchdown of the year. That was his first touchdown since the Buffalo game in week 1. But again, I'm glad he scored. I'm just glad he scored. That's what I've been asking for. He gave us a score, so I'm going to be grateful here on this beautiful Sunday the 14th. Is Flowers worth $25 million a year? I don't think so, to be honest with you. But the Ravens will pay him it. They're going to pay him. They're going to pay him. They see how much Lamar Jackson targets him. They see how much Todd Monken schemes him open. How much we utilize him in this offense. Eric DeCosta is going to open the checkbook and pay Zay Flowers like a wide receiver 1. You got to think, Eric DeCosta loves a Zay Flowers type of receiver. That's why he drafted Hollywood Brown. So yeah, Zay Flowers is here to stay. Today's game, I don't think that Eric DeCosta was really looking at the drop that turned into an interception. I don't think that he looked at the drop that, came in the end zone that could have been another touchdown, his second touchdown of the day. I don't think that Eric DeCosta is looking at that. I think that all Eric DeCosta needed to see was that touchdown pass from Lamar Jackson to Zay Flowers today. And it's a done deal. It's a done deal. Zay is signed. Zay is signed. Mog says spreading that thing was wild. Joe Burrow was spreading it around. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say, y'all? I mean, he was spreading it around. What? Come on, y'all. That's not a pause. Come on, man. Mog says Monk doesn't scheme shit. He had a couple good play calls today. Couple good play calls. I think the toss on first down, I think coming out of the half when the Ravens got the ball, that toss on 1st and 10, that was a good play call to Derrick Henry. I loved that play call. I've been wanting to see more toss plays on first down specifically. I've been wanting to see less Henry up the middle on first down because, the defense telegraphs that every single time. Like that's the main thing that defenses are playing for against the Ravens on 1st and 10. Hey, they're going to run it up the middle with Derrick Henry. We got to be ready to stop it. So let's put 8-9 guys in the box and let's just crash the middle of the field and stop Derrick Henry on first down. Put him behind the sticks. So, that toss play, I think that ended up going for 20-plus yards. It went for 20-plus yards on the first play of the second half. I want to see more of that type of stuff. Give me that. Give me more of that. Kwame says, we'll get you an A.J. Brown, but we're keeping Zay. I mean, hey, look, if we get A.J. Brown and we keep Zay, shit. Be cool with me. That'd be cool with me. Don't forget to join the Rain Gang, like this video, and subscribe to the channel as well. Every new subscription here at PRP equals a live emote on stream from Lamar Jackson himself. We'd appreciate that. Let me see. Vaughn says shit could have been 40-0 if motherfuckers just can catch. Like, literally. Zay Flowers had one where he just, he just flat out should have caught it. Didn't. He had 2 of them, actually. My bad. I can't really think of any other than Zay Flowers. I mean, those were the only ones who just had like egregious drops. Egregious. Both of Zay Flowers. I know he had the touchdown, but both of his drops today were just egregious, man. You got to get those. Got to get those. For sure. Keep Likely, let Zay walk. Hey, Likely had no targets today. I think he might be in the doghouse. He might be in the doghouse. By the way, like I said, guys, Ronnie Stanley went down in this one, and Carson Vincent had to step up and play some snaps. From what I saw, it seemed like they were helping him out on that side, chipping, things like that. But we'll have to see how Ronnie Stanley is doing. Apparently, Harbaugh gave some injury updates. Let me go ahead and listen to this. I'll play it on stream for you guys. Here we go.
Ronnie looks fine. Awuzie, we're going to know more tomorrow. I think he got caught up in that netting down there in the end zone somehow with his foot or something. And Teddy will know tomorrow, but I don't think it looks good initially. But we'll have to confirm that tomorrow.
All right. So Ronnie Stanley apparently is going to be okay, which is good. Cheeto, they don't really know yet, but it seems like they're erring on the side of like he should be fine. Teddy Buchanan, it sounds like he's out for the season. You know, he went down with a knee. He was carted off. And to me, it was surprising because I thought that if he was going to get carted off, he would have went to the locker room immediately, but he went to the sideline. If I'm not mistaken, he was on the sideline for a little while, but then he was ruled out shortly after. But I mean, the Ravens got a W. It's fair to say at what cost? Because, you know, if Ronnie Stanley's not good to go, I don't really know how. I don't really trust Carson Vincent just yet. You know what I mean? I'll have to go back and look at the tape and see what he did down the stretch of that game. But it could be tough. It could be tough sledding going ahead if Ronnie Stanley is not good to go. And if Cheeto Awuzie is not good to go. It could be tough sledding. Those are two very, very important players. Very important players. Let me see what else came out of here. Let me see. Marlon Humphrey says the Ravens practiced so hard on Friday that he was actually sore on Saturday, which is not a normal experience. He credited Ed Reed's presence on Friday partly for the enthusiasm in practice. Okay, yeah, Ed Reed was at the facility on Friday. Good to know he had an impact there. Love that. Oh, wait a minute. John Harbaugh said it doesn't look good for Cheeto Awuzie. The fear is a torn ACL. Wow. Wait. Oh, wait a minute. Never mind. Jonas Schaefer tweeted that. He since deleted that tweet because it was supposedly supposed to be about Black Rob, appreciate the sub. But it was supposedly supposed to be about Teddy Buchanan. My bad. And Jonas Schaefer's bad. He since deleted the tweet too. Let me see. Played great. Let's see. Harbaugh pointed out that Lamar Jackson checked into the play that resulted in the Rasheen Ali touchdown. Yeah, I told you guys. That was very clear and obvious when you saw Lamar Jackson making adjustments at the line there. Like he was going to the play that he wanted to call. And it ended up being a touchdown. Lamar Jackson, and I got to make a video after this, like a short video after this. Like he is still one of the most quietest kept, one of the most cerebral quarterbacks in the National Football League, because look at what he's been able to do over the past couple of weeks, even though he hasn't had the gaudy numbers with the passing yards and the touchdown passes and all that stuff. But some of the stuff that he's doing is just so veteran savvy. I mean, you saw, like we saw right there, I mean, him checking to the Rasheen Ali in the flat for that ended up being a touchdown because he knew the pressure was coming. Right. And so he immediately gets it to Rasheen. Beautiful. You saw the big 32-yard completion to DeAndre Hopkins. Quiet as kept. Again, that was a no-look pass. If you go back and look at it, I'm going to make a video on it after this very live stream as well, so you guys can see it. But that was a no-look pass. Beautiful. I mean, Lamar Jackson is still a wonderful thrower of the football. People aren't really giving Lamar Jackson a lot of credit right now because he's not killing teams with his legs, and he hasn't been, finishing drives with touchdowns with his arm. So, and a lot of that doesn't even have to do with him. But people have been discrediting him for that reason, for those reasons. So for him to come out and like look the way he does, like even when he can't just use his legs to dominate defenses, and you can tell defenses aren't even respecting the Lamar Jackson run. On read options, they're crashing down on the running back every time. They're not worried about Lamar Jackson pulling it at all. At all. And so with that being said, man, I just think that, you know, Lamar, he's not given enough credit right now. He's not given enough credit. Let me see. Odafe Owe has 7 sacks with the Chargers, which is crazy. It's crazy. Tila M says, hit the like. Tila M, and the M is for moderator, by the way, so don't act up. She gonna get you up out of here. Appreciate you, Tila. Louisville Cardinals Raven says, hell, Kyle Hamilton is playing linebacker. Pretty much. I mean, Kyle Hamilton at this point, he might as well put on 15 pounds in the offseason and just go rush the passer next year. I mean, Malachi Starks year 2, Ardarius Washington back there. Hey, man, Kyle, just we need somebody. We need a guy. Just go rush the passer. We're gonna draft another guy. We're gonna trade for another guy, you know, just in case. But like, we got to get after the quarterback because the Ravens, man. I mean, again, you beat the Bengals today. Bravo, 24-0. Shut them out. Joe Burrow, one of the 4 horsemen quarterbacks in the league. But in the playoffs next week, next week against the pissed off Pats, who just lost today to the Bills. Drake May and company, Mike Vrabel and company, they're going to want to come in here in to Baltimore because they're coming to Baltimore. They're going to want to get their get back. They want to get right. They just got knocked off of a mean winning streak. They want to get right against us. And if you cannot get any pressure on that kid, he's going to throw deep balls. And, I mean, the likes of Stephon Diggs and Kayshon Boutte, these guys are getting open downfield. And they're coming down with the football. So, I mean, you got to get after this young quarterback. I know John Harbaugh-led defenses are normally good against younger quarterbacks. I understand that. However, this kid Drake May looks like the real motherfucking deal. You got to rattle him early. And the way you do that is by getting pressure. So I do expect Kyle Hamilton to be a big part of getting pressure early on Drake May in next week's game. Surprise, surprise. That's going to be one of my predictions for next week. You're going to see Kyle Hamilton hanging out around the line of scrimmage probably a lot more often and actually rushing the passer a lot more often. You saw it today. They couldn't stop Kyle Hamilton from getting to the quarterback on that one play. They had to hold him. Because he's so nimble and he's so athletic. He can get to the QB. He can generate pressure quickly. Unlike Kyle Van Noy, unlike, dare I say, Mike Green, unlike David Ojabo, who is just wasting a roster spot at this point. You know, Tavius Robinson came just scot-free on his sack. We can't get pressure. And against some better quarterbacks and some better teams, that's going to come back to bite us. I'm just telling you, man. RJ, what's going on, RJ? Says Washington's return was big. Yeah, Ardarius Washington, man, that's huge. And like I said, I think that if you put Ardarius Washington back there with Malachi Starks, I don't think that the Ravens re-sign Alohi Gilman. I don't. I think that he probably walks after this year. He goes somewhere else. But Ardarius and Malachi on the deep half of the field means you're going to have Kyle Hamilton available around the line of scrimmage to rush the passer. And, you know, again, what Ardarius can bring back there, you know, holding down that back end is going to open up opportunities for Kyle Hamilton to get after the passer. I was thinking he might have gotten a sack today, Kyle, but ended up not. I know it's coming, though. There is a Kyle Hamilton sack coming. I'm telling you guys right now, in the next 2 games, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. He just has too much success rushing off of the edge and blitzing to not get home eventually. Just saying. Ashley says, I'm not worried about May. They hyped up JJ McCarthy too. Ashley, again, one of our members here at PRP. Shout out to you, Ashley. Again, happy Sunday to you. Appreciate you for being a member. I mean, when it comes to Drake May, I don't think that it's fair that we compare him to a JJ McCarthy and how his season has been going, because Drake May, he's legitimately looked good pretty much all season. He's looked steady, which is what you want from a franchise quarterback. You know, the ceiling doesn't have to be super duper high as long as the floor isn't really low, if you know what I mean. And that's what you get with Drake May. I mean, he had 2 rushing touchdowns today. Did have an interception in the game against the Bills, and the Bills, they did a great job coming back. James Cook really was a big part of that as well. By the way, Josh Allen might be making another MVP case. I wouldn't be surprised if he was the MVP favorite, depending on how the Rams play the Lions today, which they're playing right now. Let me actually check the score to that game. Josh Allen might be right back in the mix for MVP. Hate to say it, but they if Josh Allen finishes the season strong, they're probably going to give him a back-to-back MVP, and he's going to tie with Lamar, which is going to disgust me. But Lions and Rams are tied right now at the end of the first, 7-7. Yeah, I mean, if Matthew Stafford goes out and he looks really good, which Matthew Stafford is 7 for 13 right now with 90 yards, no touchdowns, and a pick. So, I mean, the stars are kind of aligning. And again, Josh Allen just beat Drake May today. Stars might be aligning for a second Josh Allen MVP. Hate to say it, but that's where we're at. That's where we're at. I'm not necessarily worried about Drake May either, but I'm worried about us, Ashley. I'm worried about us, the Ravens. RJ says, would you put Ardarius as safety or slot to take over Humphrey? I'd put him at safety. Humphrey is getting paid too much money to just kind of move him either completely off of the field or to the safety position. I've seen a lot of people saying, hey, look, maybe we should do what the Steelers are doing and like what they did with Jalen Ramsey and moving him to the safety spot, and he's been playing well there. Maybe we should move Marlon Humphrey to the safety spot and keep everything in front of Marlon and, let him do that, since he's clearly not as athletic as he used to be, as he once was. But for me, no, I think that we should keep him. We should keep him Ardarius in the safety position. Now, if we're playing dime, we're having multiple DBs on the field, like 5, 6, if we're having multiple DBs on the field, then yeah, put Ardarius out there for sure. Humphrey got to go for real. I mean, yeah, I think that it probably is time to move on from Marlowe. That's just me. But other people might feel different. The Pinel says, Patriots and Packers, can we go 1-1 in those 2 games? I believe we can. I mean, you get the Patriots at home coming off of a loss. Ravens are going to be, I don't want to say riding high, but the vibes will be there. They might not be high, but they'll be there. And you're going to be at home. And I believe what will be the final home game of the season, because I think we play Green Bay in Green Bay, if I'm not mistaken. So I think it's very possible to beat that Patriots team there, especially if we run the ball effectively. You run the ball effectively on that Patriots defense, you should be good. And I think we can win that game. Packers is another game that's very winnable. An NFC team that does not see this Lamar Jackson-led offense all that often. As a matter of fact, the Green Bay Packers have never seen Lamar Jackson. The last time that the Packers played the Ravens, Tyler Huntley started, right? So, if Lamar Jackson is up to it and he's feeling good physically, if you're Todd Monken, we got to throw you the classic Lamar Ravens offense. We got to give you that. You're going to have to worry about stopping Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson running for 4 quarters. Not just 1 design runs or 2 design runs for Lamar. No, actually threaten Lamar Jackson against the Packers and watch how they respond. I bet you they fold. I don't think Lamar had any design runs today. I don't think he had any. I don't think Lamar had any design runs, which is crazy. I need to see more of that. Sip to Tally Films in the house. What's going on, Coach? What's up, Coach? I'm sure he probably just got off live. Coach was live during the whole game. Him and Graven. Shout out to y'all. Salute to y'all who be live during the game. I can't do it. I do it maybe like once or twice a season, and I'll do my halftime live streams, of course. But being live throughout the whole game, I leave that to them. I can't do that. Shout out to Coach though. Sip to Tally says, "Did I miss the Zay rant, Sutton?" You did. I actually did a twofer. I ran it on him twice. I did 2 separate rants for Zay Flowers today, and then basically what I said was, Zay Flowers. I feel the same right now about Zay Flowers as I did before the game, right? Because he had some plays where he really impressed me. Like that over the shoulder touchdown, loved it, right? But he also had the drop that turned into an interception. He also had the drop in the back corner of the end zone where if he was just maybe a couple inches taller, then he would have came down with. And that's why I said, like, I feel the same today as I did yesterday about Zay Flowers. But overall, good game for him. I think he had 4 catches, 5 catches, 60 something yards, something like that. Typical Zay game. He just had a touchdown. He just happened to have a touchdown, which was good to see. But shout out to Coach. What else did I have from this game here? Let me see. Any other news that came out? Alohi Gilman, he's missing too many tackles. I know he had the touchdown today that was handed off from KVN, but Gilman's missing too many tackles for me. When we talk about the offensive line performance, I got to go back and watch the All-22. There weren't a whole lot of glaring losses today that I would say, not nearly as many as last week, I'll say. And I got to go back and watch it, but I don't think that it was as bad as last week when it comes to the O-line. Falele out there, he looked pretty bad early on in the game. But overall, I think that they played fine. Again, I got to go back and watch the All-22 before I give you guys my true thoughts on that. Is Marlowe good? I think Marlowe's okay. Because, he talked to the media afterwards. He finished the game. He went out of the game, but then he came back in the game. So I think he's good. The only ones who we're really concerned about right now is Teddy Buchanan, who is feared to have, an ACL tear, which would obviously end his season. Sad to say, rookie. He's been playing well. Cheeto Awuzie, I think that the consensus on him is that, like, he was banged up in this game, but he should be fine going forward. Ronnie Stanley, apparently he's good. He should be playing next week, I'd imagine. But yeah, overall a good game. Thea Pennell says, "What's the problem with Emory Jones Jr.?" I don't think that there's necessarily a problem with him. I just think that John Harbaugh and this Ravens coaching staff are doing everything in their power to kind of ward him off from playing. It's kind of like it feels like 1 step forward and 2 steps back when it comes to Emory Jones usage, because we got the 16 snaps on Thanksgiving against the Bengals, and then Emory Jones got no snaps against the Steelers, and then, of course, again, today gets no snaps against the Bengals. And Harbaugh already came out and said, like, yeah, we're probably done seeing that. And it's like last week, there was a lot more criticism around the offensive line, especially since the Ravens lost the game. And so everybody was like calling for, hey, why don't we start Emory Jones? Why don't we make a change at O-line? But now, just like that, the Ravens win, and the offensive line doesn't look like complete dog shit. And we're right back to square one of, oh, yeah, it's justified keeping Andrew Voorhees and Daniel Falele out there. Ravens just won. They just shut out the Bengals, the divisional rival. I mean, that's got to count for something, right? That gives this current offensive line unit, another 3-4 weeks of leeway, 3-4 weeks of leash extended to these guys, since the offensive line wasn't a glaring issue today. Next week against the Patriots, they could look like dog shit again, the offensive line. And we'll be right back to, there needs to be a change at O-line. And then the next week against the Packers, they could play well. And there's inconsistent play from the O-line. We all know that. But since they're inconsistent, it's almost as if like that plays into their favor. You know, if they just played every game just horribly, then I think it would be clear and obvious that you would have to make a change if you're Harbaugh. But since like they have one game that's like good, and then they have 2 games that are bad, then they have one game that's good, and then one game that's all right, and then, you know, they're just inconsistent in that way. I think it allows Harbaugh to say, okay, we're gonna give him one more chance. We're gonna give him one more chance. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep trying, because they're not consistently good, nor are they consistently bad. You know, it's like not right in the middle, more so towards the bad side, but just enough to keep them out there. Just enough. And that's where it gets annoying. Jackson makes them look good. The two of them just can't give you 60 minutes of football. That's right. Ty. Shout out to Ty. Appreciate you for coming through, man. Ravenville in the house. What's up, man? Spiritual War. What's going on, y'all? Falele is still a problem. King Ravens. What's up, man? Lamar has no idea when he will have a good pocket. Henry doesn't know when he will have clean blocking lanes. John is sabotaging them systematically. I agree. Lamar Jackson, a couple times in this game, didn't trust the pocket. A couple times in this game, I felt like should have gotten out of the pocket a little bit earlier and made a run for it when he had a lane to do that. But, you know, he's just not healthy. I mean, and the guys on the broadcast are talking about, oh, yeah, they got a spy out there for Lamar. And it's like, bro, no, forget the spy. Lamar Jackson just can't, he can't beat the spy right now because of his injuries. We've seen, us who watched Lamar Jackson play since 2018 when he became a Raven, and some of us a lot, you know, earlier than that when he was at Louisville. We've seen this guy run circles around the guys that were trying to tackle him today, who ended up actually tackling him. We've seen times where he does not get tackled in that fashion. He goes right around those guys with ease, eyes still down the field, knees high. But now he just doesn't have that. He just doesn't have that. I don't think it's because of him getting older. Again, we saw some of that in the Buffalo game in week 1, but he's just banged up. Which is why I still have my reservations about the majority, the rest of the season, the remainder of the season. Because at some point, like maybe next week against the Patriots, an actual AFC contender, or the week after that against the Packers, an NFC contender. I mean, we're talking teams who you might have to play in the AFC playoffs or the Super Bowl, right? Those teams are going to show you how you deal with adversity. The Bengals didn't put up a fight after the second quarter. They really didn't put up much of a fight. But these other teams, again, Patriots, Bills, I mean, hell, Broncos, Chargers, all these teams in the playoffs, Texans, in the playoffs, they're going to put up a fight. They're not just going to lay down like the Bengals did today. And so if Lamar Jackson can't throw his best punch, which is, you know, him being able to carry the ball and rush and threaten that, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to win against some good teams, some better teams. But overall, good win today, 24-0 shutout victory. We're heading into a victory Monday. You guys know I'll be live tomorrow covering this as well, me and Alex. But I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. For this episode of the show. TY says Lamar is 28. You act like he's 35. No, I'm not acting like he's 35. I mean, I know he's a little bit older. He's still young for sure. He's just hurt. He's just banged up. Ravens will not win a Super Bowl or reach a Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson. Part of that is he's getting older. I guess you're talking about John, TY. No, he's still in the prime. He's still in his prime, man. Louisville Cardinals Ravens says Sutton, it was design runs at Louisville. No scrambling. It was some scrambling. He did some scrambling too. Keep saying Harbaugh doesn't want to be wrong about 77. That's BS because he's been wrong with defensive players and they play terribly and they get benched. O-line, only position where bad play is allowed. I agree with that. And it's weird, too. It's weird. It's very weird. T.Y. says something that wasn't for you. Yeah, I saw. But yeah, guys, I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. Make sure you guys like this video. Please leave a like on this video. It helps us out a ton here at PRP. I can't even explain to you guys how much that helps us out when you like the video, and subscribe to the channel as well if you did like the content you currently consume today. If you're part of the hashtag replay gang, make sure you leave your comments down below. Questions, comments, concerns, whatever you got. Again, my name is Sudden Death. This is the Purple Rain Podcast. Always stay positive, test negative, and never, ever, ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. My name is Sudden Death. This has been another episode of Quiet Storm Sports. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.